Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alejandro Andrino. And
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alejandro Andrino.
Today I will be presenting Unreal Engine, specific in virtual reality. Okay. So I will be forwarding you to Lucila, which is going to do a brief introduction. Hello, Lucila.
Hola, Alejandro. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Buenas tardes a todos, gracias por vuestra asistencia y bienvenidos a esta jornada de Masterclass dirigida al área de visualización arquitectónica.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to be translating Lucila. Good morning, everyone. Today, this is the second part of the webinar. We did it in Spanish before. Now it's going to be in English. And we're going to proceed to the speak.
Queremos compartir con vosotros contenidos, en esta ocasión relacionados con el área de realidad virtual y tiempo real para visualización arquitectónica.
We're going to be speaking specifically of virtual reality and the optimization of the scene in order to be executed correctly, the scene, and most efficiently.
Como muchos de vosotros sabéis, además de ser escuela oficial de los programas que impartimos, este último curso lectivo hemos sido reconocidos como la segunda mejor escuela del mundo en visualización arquitectónica.
The school has received a prize from the rookies of the best school of architecture visualization.
Esta plataforma Rookies, quien nos ha reconocido como segunda mejor escuela del mundo, es una plataforma que se centra en la observación de los trabajos de los alumnos que empiezan a ser profesionales. Está compuesta por jurados de grandes empresas de la industria, entre ellas Autodesk y Epic Games.
Rookies is a worldwide company that focuses on seeing the evolvement of the students that are practicing specific software and
Este premio, como os decía, está otorgado por la calidad de la formación, el nivel del profesorado, la inserción del alumno en el mundo laboral y sobre todo la calidad con la que salen egresados de la escuela.
The Rookies is a mirror. It does a mirror effect to show what the level of the work that the student has made and how you can use that certificate in the future to apply to some companies or whatever you need.
Esta introducción la queríamos realizar porque realmente estamos muy orgullosos del trabajo y del nivel conseguido por los alumnos, y para que veáis cómo trabajamos y cómo entendemos la visualización arquitectónica, sin más demora, os dejo con Alejandro.
Okay, this ranking is going to help us to give a presentation to the students, and now I'm going to proceed to give you the chat and the overall overview of Unreal and the workflow. Okay, so if you have any questions, first of all, save them and ask towards the end of the presentation, and we're going to answer everything. Okay, so as a brief introduction to myself, my name is Alejandro Andrino. I'm Spanish, but I've learned English my whole life. That's why I can speak it fluently. And myself, I'm actually a video game programmer and a 3D artist, okay? But the beautiful thing about what I'm teaching, which is Unreal, is that it covers many different sectors, okay? For example, there is a sector of the video game industry, which is the one I'm a bit more specialized. There is a sector of cinema. There is a sector of architecture visualization, which is the course I'm currently giving, okay, Unreal, which is architecture visualization in English, specialized for virtual reality, okay? And then there's also another industry in Unreal, for example, the automotive industry for cars, cinema, and so on, all right? So what does the master offer? In total, the master is composed of 4 modules, okay? The first 3 modules are specific to 3D Max, okay? And the first 3 modules are essential in order to reach the 4th one, which is Unreal Engine, because the first 3 modules, you're going to learn how to model an object in the correct and most efficient way, and then unwrap it to use it in other programs, okay? So before we head to the theory and everything, I would like to just briefly show you my art station, okay? So you can see some projects that I've worked on coming from the industry of the video games or architecture or others, okay? So I'm going to proceed to share my screen, okay? Share screen, go. Okay. Okay, so here we have some examples of some work that I've done. This is a game called Fisterre that I worked with some peers. You can check it out. As you can see, it's a low poly style. Then we have some outdoors, for example, so post-apocalyptic outdoor and abandoned. Everything made in Unreal, okay? The modeling, though, is made in Maya, in my case, but 3D Max and Maya are brothers, so that's why it's essential, the first 3 part of the module, because you're going to learn how to correctly model houses like this, or more complex even, and unwrap them the correct way, okay? This is an example, for example, of a tank. Okay, we're not going to, in the course you're not going to do assets like these, which are pretty complex, but you're going to focus rather on more doing buildings, okay? Here we have an example of an apartment, okay? Below quality, there we go. Okay, some basic camera movements from left to right. Just so you have an idea of the level of quality that we can achieve in Unreal Engine, and in a very dynamic form, okay? The methodology of lighting a scene in Unreal can be different than the methodology that you can use in 3D Max, because the main difference between the 2 of them is that 3D Max is more focused for static renders, okay? And Unreal is more dynamic. You can have dynamic light bouncing around your scene, or maybe some animations, okay? But anyway, it's fundamental that you go through the first part of the course in able to achieve a decent level, okay? So now that I've showed this, should we show the reel now, Lucila? La reel? Yes. Okay. We're going to proceed to show the reel now before I start exposing everything. This was a brief introduction. So, Miki, throw the reel, please. Okay. So here we saw the reel, some beautiful images that I've made by professionals and even students. So the true question is, what is the potential in Unreal? Why are we focusing on Unreal in this last module on the fourth one? By the way, the modules, which are 4, are going to last in total around 9 months, okay? 4 months, which is half of the course, is going to be specified for Unreal, okay? To keep this into consideration. So why Unreal? Unreal Engine was made in 1998, in fact, and it has evolved more and more over time as technology has advanced. And nowadays, I would say it's the largest, and even I would say it's the best graphic motor right now in the industry, because it adapts really well to different industries. As I said before, automotive, architecture visualization, cinema, video game, okay? Not only it adapts well, okay, but as well, it's free to use for everyone, okay? And free to develop and bring out a game, okay? Now, Epic has a little law that whenever you overpass 1 million sales, they start putting a commission on your sales, okay? But you can do some research on that. Another important thing about Unreal is that it's a stable motor, okay, graphic motor. This means that we have some guarantees with it, and we know it's not gonna crash and it's bad optimizer motor, okay? It has been designed in a way that most of the time it's working, okay, 99.9. Now, another important thing about Unreal Engine is that it's relatively easy to use as well. It's made in Unreal, it's made in a way that it's very environmentally friendly, okay? The buttons, they look friendly, they look big. It doesn't seem like it's very complicated. At the first look, of course, it can look pretty complex, but when you start putting your hands in it, you can see how you can get really, really beautiful results within little time, okay? Now, of course, you always need to optimize a scene to make it physically correct. But overall, I would say it's relatively easy to learn. And not only the visuals, but also the programming, okay? Unreal Engine uses the programming nodes, okay, visual scripting, which are nodes composed of C++ scripts within them. And it's the programming, it's made in a way that the environment artists and the designers can actually work with it too, all right? Which that's really, really good. And we can get some pretty good results. And artistic people can actually start programming, which is great. And it's what we want, because in the course we're going to be specializing is virtual reality. Virtual reality means that, as the name says, we're going to start interacting with objects around us. What does this mean? This means that we need to start optimizing a scene in a way that we can interact with it in a fluent way, not in a very laggy and slow way, okay? That's why it's really important, the steps that we're gonna go over in the course and following our professional tips in order to get to your results without stepping into obstacles that take a lot of time to solve, okay? So yeah, that was my notes. Topics we're gonna cover. We're gonna cover introduction to Unreal Engine 4. Then we're gonna go over materials, okay? How to compose a material. In this case, is going to be PBR. PBR means photorealistic based rendering, yes. What does this mean? That any object that is going to be in your scene is going to be reflecting information of the light that is going to compose of different output. For example, we're going to compose a material from different maps that compose how shiny an object is, or how dull it is, how bright it is, what texture, like what texture normal map it has, if it has any bumps, or if it's metal, or if it has opacity, or if it has emissiveness, okay? Other topics we're gonna cover, lighting, okay? Fundamental in this topic, finding the right composure of lighting and optimizing the light in a way that it looks physically correct and it's bouncing physically correct in our scene. Other topics we're going to cover is going to be terrain, cameras, which cameras, if you have already some knowledge on cinematography, then that's going to be a big plus for you. I'm also going to touch a little bit on the code, okay, of Unreal in order to make our scene interactive for virtual reality, post-process, and special effects, okay? Something like maybe rain or snow or something similar, or an explosion even. Now, Unreal is, as you can see, infinite in possibilities and outcome. So we're gonna go over the essentials in the topic for you to form, in order to form you with the essential knowledge, okay? Now, I would like to say that another beautiful thing about Unreal is that you touch so many different topics that it enhances your knowledge on different aspects. For example, if you're not a person that's really into cameras or cinematography, with Unreal, you can actually simulate or try to achieve that shot that you always wanted to do, but you couldn't do because you didn't physically have the camera, for example. So you can practice your skills on composition and just, yeah, overall, overall skills on cinematography, or, for example, lighting and other departments, okay? This is really big, the possibilities. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stop talking so much, and I'm going to share my screen to show you some work that we've been working in class, and just an example, getting my hands into Unreal and showing you the potential. Okay, so Miki, please, can you, okay, I'm going to start sharing. Okay, let's go. Yes, I'm opening the scene. Give me 1 second. Okay, so let's start with, let's start with this one. It's gonna be cool. Okay. So Unreal Engine, one thing really cool about it is that you can actually learn a lot about it in your free time. Okay, there's a lot of courses you can actually investigate, or even Unreal Engine itself serves some like mini courses that you can go through and you can learn a lot. Okay, so I completely recommend you if you want to do a small introduction to it. Okay, now what I'm going to proceed to show you now is an example of a little cinematic that I've done of an Audi car in this case, to show you the different possibilities, okay? Not only for architecture visualization, but also if you want to showcase a car or you want to sell a product, a specific product, okay? Let's go here. So this is Unreal, okay? I know right now you're seeing a lot of buttons, but the important thing to focus here right now, it's the viewport, which is where all the information is going to be seen. Okay, I'm going to change the mode to unlit so you can see the physically based render and how everything is scattering through in the scene. Okay, now this is an object. This is an actor. Unreal Engine, when you're talking about objects, you're talking about actors in the scene. Okay, in this case, we have an Audi here, very beautiful. Okay, very beautiful asset you can find in the marketplace, or you can grab them from other places. Okay, now the lighting method that we're going to be going over in this course, it's different. For example, we're going to go over static lighting, which is similar to the lighting that can be used in V-Ray. Okay, what does this mean? That we can choose to bake our light, okay, or to keep it dynamic. In 3D Max, you can't really have dynamic lighting with ray tracing, okay, and it's more focused on static images. But the beauty about Unreal is that it offers the capability to calculate all of the bounces in your scene in real time, okay, without having to bake lighting for so long, okay? Now, let me show you a quick example, okay? Before going here, I want to show you this image, which is pretty cool. I always like to show this, which is the same image, but rendered in three different lighting methods. The one in the middle is V-Ray, okay? It's the method that you're going to be learning during the first part of the course, okay, during the first 3 modules. And as you can see, the image looks pretty neat, okay? Well, all of them look pretty nice, beautiful, and neat. But the main difference between V-Ray and ray tracing, which is real-time rendering, is the time. As you can see, to capture this image, it took almost 19 minutes, okay? But with Unreal, which has a different way of lighting the scene, you can have basically the same result instantly, okay, without having to wait to bake time. Or you can choose another method, for example, the GPU light mask, which renders really quick, and you get the same results, okay? Now, like everything, there's pros and cons, okay? There are some limitations in using ray tracing, and there are some limitations in using V-Ray, and some limitations in using GPU light mask, okay? Which I'm not gonna go over right now, but we can, if you subscribe to the course, you're gonna know all of the detail about everything, okay? So in this case that I'm using, in this scene, all right, I'm using real-time illumination, so ray tracing, okay? Right now, it's deactivated, but I can easily activate it with a command, okay, which is called ray tracing force all ray tracing effects 1. So when I click this, I want you to focus on the windows of my car, how when I check it, I can see through it, okay? Why is this? This is because the light is bouncing around the scene more, but as I said before, there can be some limitations, okay? Majorly is the FPS drop, okay? The frame per second. As you can see right now, I'm on 20 frames with ray tracing, which is a bit of a bummer, but like always, you have to sometimes sacrifice performance over quality, okay? It's just how it is. But for now, let me show you on camera. For example, let's go over. Okay, matter of fact, I'm going to show you the whole showcase of this little car. Okay, it's going to be easier instead of showing you each particular camera. Okay, so give me 1 second. Okay, here we have it. This scene, this render that you're about to see, I rendered everything in Unreal with ray tracing, and I put it all together in a little showcase of the car. Okay, so let's see how it looks. Okay, so here we have it. This scene, this render that you're about to see, I rendered everything in Unreal with ray tracing, and I put it all together in a little showcase of the car. Okay, so let's see how it looks. Okay, so let's grab a, let's see how it looks. Okay. All right, so there we have it. That's a little render of all of my cameras that I've got here. And as you can see, the potential is huge, okay? Because we can go, for example, from animating a whole light scenario to move around your car, like we've seen in this, for example, let me go to the camera 8, okay? To give you an example. I'm going to open now my sequencer, my sequence camera number 8, which is here, okay? For example, okay? What we did here was literally, I got the camera, which is on top, okay? These are all of the components in my scene, by the way, okay? I got the camera, which is on top, and I literally moved it, as you can see, all right? I moved the camera and the lights through a region of time, okay? I don't want to get too technical, but just so you have an idea, that's one example of how to animate some cameras there. Another example of other potential, for example, is programming a series of water droplets to spawn on top of your car, okay? Or maybe have water droplets to fall from the side of your car, okay? Or even to have some ponds and some water drops falling, okay? As you can see, very, very big, the possibilities that we can have within Unreal. And in this course, we're gonna go over all of the essentials, okay? As I covered before. Now, okay, let's see. This is an example of the car. ¿Cómo ve de tiempo, Miki? Okay. All right, so let me show you now another little example of a scene of architecture, okay? In this case, I'm going to show you the scene that I'm working with my students and how we can make the scene look interactive, okay? Right now, I showed you everything that's pure visual. Okay, crashed. Right now, I showed you everything that's pure visual, and I'm gonna change the dynamic of this project that I'm going to show you now. Okay, until before, you were seeing everything pure visual, good quality, the highest quality as possible, no optimization for virtual reality yet. But now in the project that I'm going to show you now, you can, I'm going to show you how I prepared a scene, which I'm working with my students, and it's thought to be optimized for virtual reality, okay? So let's give it a check. Example. Let's give it a check. Okay. Okay. Well, matter of fact, instead of showing you the whole level from here, I'm going to show you the main level, which I did with my students yesterday. So for example, if I open my main menu level and I click play, okay, we have a little menu, okay. I put as a background one of the renders that you just saw, but just so you have an idea, if you click here and start simulation, right now we are in the main level, which is the project that Laura showed in the last video. Okay, and we can see how this mannequin, which represents us within the simulation of virtual reality, okay, when we walk in front of a door, a door can open. Okay, and we can have other interactive components like turning the light on whenever we step on it, and so on. Okay, now the scene is still in development with my students. It's not as prepared as Laura's, but just so you have an idea. The scene is also interactive to add some animations to it. Okay, for example, we can add some characters in our scene that are going to start moving. All right, so if I go here in a little sequence that I did last time, here we have a simple mannequin moving in the house, going to the kitchen. Okay, little bit sad because he has to wash the dishes. Okay, and then he starts dancing some rumba. Okay. Just a quick example that I was giving in class, but just so you have an idea of the different methods that we can work in Unreal, whether it's for virtual reality or for production for products and so on. And of course, I'm not going to go over the landscape, but it's also another big area in Unreal. Okay, where you have that fog, which right now it's not looking very neat, but you will know everything you need in the course and able to make it look really, really good. Okay. Let's see if I need to cover anything more. Well, before I finish my part, let me just show a couple of examples that some of my students have made that I have here next to me. So they still have way more potential and the quality is still going to upgrade way more till the core finishes, but just so you have a broad idea. Here, for example, this is a little castle scene that Raja has made, one of my students. Okay, they're all really, really talented. This is another kitchen scene which Cristina has made. Okay, looks really, really neat. Okay, and these are just static renders. Right now, I'm not going to show you the dynamic cameras which are moving around, but here you have, for example, another example of Katarina with her penthouse. Okay. This is another penthouse of, I believe, Raja or Anna. Okay. There you have it. And yeah, that's all I have to show you for now. So if you have any questions, just write it down in the chat and I'll be happy to answer. Okay, great. Okay.
Ok, thank you, Alejandro. Tradúceme, por favor. Si alguien tiene alguna consulta que nos quiera hacer llegar ahora a través del chat, si no, veréis que va a aparecer mi correo para cualquier duda.
Okay, so if you have any questions in general or in specific, you can put them in the chat. And if you have any questions related to the school, how much the course is, and so on, you can you can mail Lucila, which is gonna attach her email right now in the chat. Okay. So Amulia, you can speak with Lucila about the price.
Sí.
Okay.
Correcto.
If you only want to do the Unreal course and not the 3D Max, you need to speak with the school and you need to give them your portfolio so they can give the check-in that your previous work is to the level to proceed. Okay, but I recommend you that you do the whole course, which is 9 months, because it covers all the essentials, going from 3D modeling to texturing to optimizing the model and then using it in other motors, whether it's Unreal or Unity or whatever you need. Okay.
Sí, cualquier persona que ya esté experimentada en 3D Studio Max, en V-Ray, que se dedique a la previsualización de imágenes fijas, podéis escribirme por favor al correo, dejarnos ahí el link al portfolio y lo valora. Primero hay que valorarlo por parte de los profesores si se llega a ese nivel. En cuanto a los precios, podéis escribirme directamente para tener una comunicación más fluida. Hay distintas variaciones según los acuerdos de pago, por eso es mejor comentarlo personalmente. A ver si puedes resumir.
Okay, so Lucila just mentioned that if you need, well, if you think that you're in the level to go to the last module, which is Unreal, and avoiding the previous ones, then you need to attach your, well, you need to send her your portfolio so she can send it to me and Diego and Laura, and we can give the check that you're in the level and you can proceed to the last module. Okay. Nasi has a question. As far as I know, Unreal Engine 4 and Unreal Engine 5 show profound differences. Why is that only version 4 is covered in this course? Okay, good question, Nasi. So first of all, Unreal Engine 5 officially is not out. Okay, it's going to be out probably in 1 month. But as for now, we prefer to teach all of the workflow in Unreal Engine 4 because it has been, well, until now, it has been the most stable. Okay. However, as soon as Unreal Engine 5, no doubt, I'm going to swap to Unreal Engine 5 because the new system of lighting that it offers, which is Lumen, is incredible. It's optimal and it's accessible for everyone that has a decent card. Okay. Also, Unreal Engine 5 also offers mesh optimization, which is really great for when you're making really big cities or just very dense cities or maybe a very dense landscape. So yeah, no doubt that we're gonna swap to Unreal Engine 5 as soon as it comes out, which is very, very soon.
Evelyn nos pregunta, hola Evelyn, ¿cuándo comienza el curso? The course starts at October, Evelyn.
Exactly. The course specific in Unreal, specific in Unreal, right, Lucila?
Sí.
It starts in October, okay? Because now in March, it's when it starts the first to 3 modules, which is the 3D part, 3D Max part. Okay. However, if there's a lot of demand, we might be able to organize a course. Okay, but it depends on the demand. Nasi is also asking the second question: what is the procedure? Will the model be constructed in 3ds and will then be rendered and animated in Unreal Engine? Okay. The overall procedure is the following. First, we're going to prepare all of the geometry in 3D Max or Maya. Okay. Well, if you're doing the course, you're going to learn how to do it in 3D Max. Okay. However, like me, I come from the video game industry. I'm more Maya than 3D Max. But either way, the process is making an asset, optimizing the geometry in a way that's correct, okay? Unwrapping the UVs, which is the map coordinates of the mesh in 2 dimensions, correctly, of course, and then importing given geometry within Unreal. And in Unreal, you do everything, okay? The materials, the lighting, the animation, any programming that you need to do. And the reason why you do all of this in Unreal and you don't do the materials in 3D Max is because if you do the materials in 3D Max and you send them to Unreal, Unreal is gonna sort of translate those shaders in a way that's not optimal at all. So since I'm specialized in Unreal, I'm gonna show you how to start from zero, the materials, like for example, the water droplets material that I showed you of the car, which is impossible to do. And well, it's not impossible, but 3D Max is pretty hard to do. Okay, especially if they have to move. So yeah, that would be the overall procedure. Okay. Okay. All right. I think for now, those are the questions. Lucila, do you want to comment something?
Yes, Amulia, I received your email. We keep in touch in a few days, okay? Any questions?
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Pues si no hay más preguntas, les damos las gracias a todos por haber asistido. Saber que somos una escuela que, además de formaros profesionalmente dentro de los programas, también os acompañamos en todo vuestro recorrido profesional una vez acabada la formación. Así que cualquier consulta que tengáis, estamos todos a vuestra disposición.
Okay. So the chat is going to finish now. If you need any consult of anything specific, mail Lucila. Okay. Thank you very much for listening to me and my peers. And we keep in contact. Okay. Great. Thank you very much.